Welcome back to Carolina Beat, everyone. I'm over here with President Jonathan Peel from Coastline Insurance Associates. And, we're wanting to know what homeowners need to know about flood insurance and whether you have it and what do you do if you don't have it. And there could be a flooder coming.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
All right, where do we start? How do we know if we've got flood insurance? Because I want to be honest, who reads the small print?
Not many clients. I usually tell people that if they're having trouble sleeping, read an insurance policy. Unfortunately, Troy, a lot of our clients, they don't realize what they have until they need it. And after last year's Hurricane Florence, a lot of clients at that time realized they didn't have flood insurance. We really try at our agency to do a good job educating our clients that flood insurance is pretty much always a separate policy. And
well, that's what I wanted to say to you. Now, look, for someone who's not from this area, and knowing what went down last year, because I worked at one of our sister stations, and we had some of our team members down here helping out. So I wanted to ask you, if you're in a flood zone or a flood area, shouldn't your policy automatically have these? And if you have a mortgage, shouldn't your mortgage make sure that you need that?
Yeah, so
that's just, to me, common sense.
Right. Well, there are basically there are three flood zones, and two of those we considered higher risk zones. Those are your A zones and your V zones. Can
you explain to everyone at home where they are?
Sure. A zones are usually second, third row from the ocean.
Yep.
Typically your source of flooding is going to be accumulating water.
Yes.
Hence the A. And then V zones are usually your oceanfront homes. Source of flooding would be velocity, such as storm surge or tidal wave. So if you're in an A or V zone, you're at a higher risk of flooding, and your mortgage company would require you to carry flood insurance. However, if you don't have a mortgage, there is no requirement. You have to purchase it separately. And unfortunately, if you don't know you don't have it, you might not even ask your insurance agent for that.
Are there different types of flood insurance for different policies?
No, not necessarily. Flood insurance is pretty much controlled by the National Flood Insurance Program. So the policy language is pretty much identical. In fact, rates are governed by the National Flood Insurance Program as well.
Okay, interesting you say that, because I'm going to go back. If you have a home and, like you said, you don't have mortgage and it's right on the beach, you're paying rates for the local council. I'm surprised that they don't have some sort of assurance for you that you can't, if you're not insured, you pay a higher rate fee or something, because you've got to have the insurance.
Right. I really think it's an education issue.
Yeah.
A lot of clients just don't understand that it's not automatically covered.
All right.
So it takes a good insurance agent to educate you.
Okay, well, let's talk about costs. What does it cost to have flood insurance? Because it's obviously a secondary policy on top of what you already have.
Right. Well, if you're not in a high-risk flood zone, you can get flood insurance for anywhere from $300 to $500 a year. If you're in that A flood zone we spoke about earlier, insurance premiums usually run somewhere between $600 and $1,000 a year on average. Those high-risk zones are usually going to pay on average somewhere around $3,000 and above for their flood insurance rates.
All right. Is there a different process for flood insurance, as in payouts and premiums? So I already have my home insurance over here, and let's just say my monthly premium is $500, and then I go to log a claim, and my deductible is $600, let's say. Is flood on top of that a different deductible?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually, during Florence, we had clients that had wind claims as well as flood claims, and you are going to be subject to separate deductibles, one for your wind and one for your flood damage.
Why can't I have them together?
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
Not yet. No, there has been a push to see that in the market. Right. It's just not very common yet.
Well, keep us informed, will you? Because there's always changes happening with insurance, and it's super important to check every time you do a new policy.
I agree.
Buddy, we appreciate you. Come back soon, huh?
Sure.
All right, if you want to find out more, there it all is up on the screen for you. Coastline Insurance Associates, the president, the man, Jonathan Peel. Back after this short break.